expansion. So before going on to the main content of the syllabus, I just want to tell about all the concepts that is there in the cost. Okay, so what are the different types of costs that you can see in a business? So it can be like from economics point of view as well as from accounts point of view. Like if you are going to have an account book, then these costs will be there. Like you should know about these costs. But normally, cost of production means that is nothing but the like various costs that is incurred in a business. So if you are doing a business, like what are the things like from day one, like whatever the activity that you are doing, and mainly like what are the payment that you are doing for these factors of production, so namely land, labor, capital, organization. So all those things are called as the cost of production. But apart from cost of production, like there are certain concepts in it. So that is what we are going to see today. So all the different types of cost that you can see in a see in economics perspective as well as from business accounts perspective. So all the things like we are going to see now. And not only this, there are many other costs also, like you have different, like too many types of cost. But these are the very important one, like which we should know, like we should like know to make a difference on. Okay, so with that, like these are the different things. Like we will see one by one, like what it all means. So the very first one is the opportunity cost and the actual cost. Actually, the very important cost in economics, it is not a real cost. In fact, opportunity cost is not actually a real cost. It is an imaginary one. And but if you want to know the value of a particular commodity or value of a particular services, you should know about opportunity cost. And there are lots of international trade theories which are based on this opportunity cost. So opportunity cost plays a very important role in economics. So if you are a student of economics, I strongly believe that you should know what is this opportunity cost, where this can be implemented in your business life as well as anywhere, like if you go on into. So opportunity costs, normally I used to explain it with a very simple concept. Like for example, you are getting graduated. Like once you get graduated, immediately like the next concept will be your placement. So when you go for your placement, you are having two different opportunities in front of you, two different options in front of you. Like one is that you can stay in your hometown and your salary will be minimum, and that minimum in the sense like reasonable salary only. Like minimum, I'm not saying 10,000, 20,000 likewise. A minimum, a reasonable salary. Like you can keep it as 50,000 per month. Okay, but the job is in your hometown. So, hometown in the sense, you can stay with your family, you can be there in your home, and from there, like you can go, all your friends and relatives will be in and around of you. Like that is the one option. And another option is that, like, you have to go a little bit far away, and there the salary is little bit high. Like again, like as an example, like you can take like 1 lakh per month. I'm giving an example only. Okay, you can expect more than this also, but I'm just giving an example. So 1 lakh per month is the salary, but it is far away. Like you could not travel daily to your home. It is a faraway place, and you have to go and you have to stay there, where like you have to miss all your families, friends, everything. So these are the two different opportunities. Which one you will be choosing? So among this A and B, which one you will choose? So likewise, like there will be lot of situations coming in our way. Like not only in life, this is an example of life. where like just to see your psychological to test your psychological thoughts only, like this has been done. But the same thing happens in a business also, like when you're going for a business, even a business itself will be an opportunity cost, like whether to choose a business or to go for a job, which one will be better. Or again, like if you're going to choose a business, again there will be lot of opportunities, which one you're going to choose. And again, when you're doing a business, there will be lot of strategies that you will be adopting, and each strategies that you take into account, like it will be having a different options. Like always in your life until the end, there will be options coming on your way. So which one you will be choosing and which one you will be not choosing or leaving it. So likewise the combination will come. So this opportunity cost is nothing but by not choosing the alternative, what is the loss that you are going to occur or that you are going to face. That is what is the opportunity cost. That's the reason why I said it is not a real cost. Really, you're not going to spend anything as opportunity cost. But by not choosing a particular option, what are the things that you are going to lose? That is the thing. So as an example, as I was giving an example from that itself, if you take, you can see that like the first option was like you can be there in your hometown, but the salary is 50,000. Okay. So what are the things, like if you're not going to choose the alternate and if you're going to choose this, the opportunity cost is 50,000, because if you go somewhere, like you will be earning 50 more thousand, but that you are losing and you want to stay back in your hometown itself. So that is the opportunity cost. Opportunity cost in this example is 50,000. So by not choosing that, what is the loss that is going to occur to you? And in the same way, like if you are saying that, no, I'm not like emotionally bounded with, like I don't want to stay with my family or hometown. For me money is important, so I will be going to the second option. Again, that one also I'm not saying in an unethical way, like I'm not saying that that is unethical. It can, like the circumstances and the situations are different for different individual. Okay, so other than being with the family, like if you go outside, earn more, like you can support the family, everyone can be happy, that is also there. Okay, so I will not say the second option is wrong. Anything can be your option. So by if you are going to choose the second option, what are the things that you are going to lose it here? The things that you're going to lose is that your family food, the leisure or the pleasure of being there in your own home. You're going to miss your friends. You're going to miss your relatives. Likewise, there will be a lot of things. And other than that, if you're going to be there in your hometown, like it is going to be your own home, so there is no need of rental. Like if you go another place, like you have to go for a rental stay. So that rent you can save it in money term, like in money monetary term. Like if you want to measure it, it can be that that money you can save it. So all those are expenses. So the standard of living will be different in that particular area. uh, might be like normally, like that is the case, no, like rural, semi-rural, their lifestyles are different. And if you're going to be there in a metropolitan cities, and that too, like if you take an example of Bombay and all, you know, like if, for rent itself, like your salaries will go off. So likewise, there will be some thing like which will be you will be losing here. So this is what, like what are the things that you are going to give up in order to get that one. That is what is the opportunity cost. And why this opportunity cost is important, because you should really know the value of both the options, and then only you have to select it. Like randomly you cannot make a selection, so you should know what is that you are going to lose, and if that is going to be minimum, then you can go for it. Again, when you make an analysis, and if you found that going and staying somewhere and earning 1 lakh is not going to meet all my needs, whereas this 50,000 can give all my like it can fulfill all my desire, means you can go with 50,000 itself. Okay, so that is what is the calculation. If you are not going to do it properly, And if you're going for that 1 lakh, and then you're finding that from that 1 lakh, you're not able to save even a single paise, then it becomes a loss. So that's why always you should make an analysis of opportunity cost. So opportunity cost is nothing but by choosing one, what are the things that you are going to lose it? By not choosing the other one, what are the things that you are going to lose it? So if that is going to be heavier, then you have to think over. Okay. So if the opportunity cost is minimum, then you can choose that option. If the opportunity cost is going to be very heavier, then you have to think over your choice of options and you have to work on. So that is what is this opportunity cost is. So opportunity cost is defined as a expected returns from the second best use of the resources, which are foregone due to the scarcity of resources. So here in economics terms, they are saying, so the same concept only. So what is expected to get from the alternate, the second best use of the resources, which you have foregone due to the scarcity of resources. Why? Because the resources are not available in plenty, it is very scarce. So because of making an analysis of this scarcity and its usages, if you are choosing the best option, like best combination which will be giving you the benefit, that will be helping you. So what is the expected return from the second best use of the resources, which is foregone? So by not choosing that, what is that you are going to lose expected returns, not actual. Okay, so it is not in real terms, but it is in imaginary terms. It is an imaginary value, and that too here normally the psychological concept works more, like psychologically people will be thinking over, so that plays a very important role in choosing a best opportunity cost. So that is the concept of opportunity cost. There are lots of theories which is based on this opportunity cost. So the next one is the actual cost. So actually, by doing this activity or by doing this business, what are all the expenses that I'm making on, that becomes my actual cost. But opportunity cost is not actually the cost which I'm incurring on it, but what will be my loss if I'm going to choose this and not going to choose that one. So that is what is the opportunity cost. So this is a basic difference, and this is more important. Then next, we will go on to the other types of cost which are there in the book of accounts. That is like when you maintain an account book and all. So there you can see all these things actually. So business cost and full cost. So business cost means it includes all the expenses which are carried out in a business. Full cost, it includes the business cost and the opportunity and the normal profit of a firm. Like if you are a entrepreneur, so what is the profit that you expected from it? Added all these things, that becomes the full cost. So full cost means wherever you see full cost of, that means then it means that the business cost, the opportunity cost, that is the cost which is missed out, and the normal profit, everything is put together. We call it as a full cost. But actually, the reality in real sense, it is only the business cost. So this is another type. Then explicit cost and implicit cost. So this is again a purely an economic concept. I have already said about these factors of productions. No, so factors of productions means land, labor, capital, organizations. For all these things we are paying a remuneration. But if the same thing is from your own packet, like for example, you are having a business in the piece of land which belongs to you. Okay, so will you be paying rent to it? That is the question. In the same way, the labors that is used in the production process, like if it is going to be your family business, all your brothers, your sisters, your parents, your uncle, everyone will be working on it. So the payment actually, it will not, like if it is going to be a joint family, a family business, for everyone payment will not be given out. And some suppose like if some of like for example, if the business needs some 1 crore of rupees, and 25 lakhs was put from your packet, and 75 lakhs you have like you got as a loan from the bank. Okay. So you will be paying an interest to the bank, but we will not be paying anything for this 25 lakh that you have put from your side. So there are certain things, certain factors which will be from your own packet. Your own packet means from your own side. So you might have made an investment from the resources which were there with you already. So that is the difference. So the cost which is paid to outsiders and the cost which is not paid to the people, which has been used by the family's own property, will not be paid anything. So that is the difference between this explicit cost and the implicit cost. So explicit costs are those costs which fall under the actual or the business cost, which is entered in the books of account, whereas implicit costs do not take a form of cash outlay. Why? Because it's our own labors or our own property or our own land or our own investment capital which will be invested on in it. So that is implicit. Implicit means ours, like our own factors. When they are employed, they are not being actually paid for, and it will not be coming under the cash outlay. Like for example, if you are having a Xerox sorry if you are having a Xerox shop, and the Xerox shop is uh, like formed or situated in such a way that you have your house backside, and in the front and the porticos or somewhere, like when there is a space that is being converted into um, a, uh, a shop, and there the business is being done. So normally you will not be paying rent to all these things, but the same thing, if it is done in some other place, then you have to pay a rent to it. So that is the difference. So explicit cost means when the rent is paid when something is hired from outside. Implicit cost means when the factor is owned by you yourself and you are not going to pay anything for it. So that is the main difference between this explicit and implicit cost. So that is purely an economic concept. Then comes out of packet cost and book cost. This is accounts concept. So out of packet means the item of expenditure which involve cash payment or cash transfer are known as out of packet cost. Uh, like even like for example, if it is a family business, something someone is coming and asking for like something happens at that time and they are asking. So from my pocket, I will be taking and I will be giving it. So cash payment I will be making or cash transfer I will be doing it, but out of my pocket. But that will not be coming under the books. But if the same thing, if I'm asking a particular person to go and meet the accountant and get it from him, that will be properly maintained. Okay. So that will be coming under the books of account, whereas out of pocket means sometimes we will be providing that to the laborers, or sometimes suddenly there will be some crack in the machine happening. So for that, some mechanic might have come and they might have worked on it. So from your packet, you will take it and you will give it. You will not be making an entry in the book actually. But if something properly an accountant is maintained and if he is making a record of all these things, then it becomes a book cost. Out of packet is means just by the payment, like it will not come under any calculation at all. That is what the concept is. Next comes the fixed cost and the variable cost. So all the costs that is being incurred with the fixed assets of a company, that is called as the fixed cost. So it can be like fixed cost means land. If you take for land, like every month you will be paying a same amount, so it is fixed. It will not change. And there's some insurance cost that you are using. There will be some fixed asset, the machines that is invested. So 1 lakh, if the value of the machine is 1 lakh, I got 1 lakh means at that time I might have invested it. The very first time when I'm purchasing, that 1 lakh might have been invested on it. but the same machine will be used throughout 5 years for the production process. I will not be changing every day or every month. So it is a fixed asset. So land is a fixed asset. Like instead of even a rent, like what I might have bought it at once, I have paid it and I have bought it. It is not going to change. So the fixed, like fixed concept. So they are going to be permanent for a short period. Like normally fixed and variable happens in a short period only. In long period, all the cost becomes a variable cost. Like for example, if a company is there for more than 10 years, they might not be working at the same cost which was invested some 10 years before. Okay, so they might have changed all the concept. The land size, the factory size might have got increased. Um, like the machines that they were used, they might have changed the machines, or like new machines with a high cost might have been implemented, or something might have happened. Like in a long run, we will not be having a fixed cost and variable cost. All the cost will become a variable cost. But whereas in a short period, there are certain fixed concepts like land, the size of the factory, the land, the machines, the equipments that is used, the permanent labors that they are going to be using. Why? Because permanent labor, 10 members is needed means 10 will be permanent. Temporary labors will be shifting according to our production process. And normally fixed cost, it's like even before we start our production process, we will be making an investment on it, and that is going to be there for throughout our year of businesses. But variable cost, it is like the cost which is incurred on the variable items like raw materials, or temporary labors, the transportation, marketing. All these things we do only when there is a increase in the output. When we are making a production, we need all these things. Other than that, we don't need all these things. So that is the difference between fixed cost and the variable cost. Fixed cost and variable cost we will see in the later hours. It is the main concept, in fact. But now I just want to cover all these things. Marginal cost. Again, marginal cost plays a very important role. This is addition to the total cost due to additional unit of one more unit of input used in the production process. So what happens to this marginal cost? Again, marginal cost will be giving you well in advance, like how your cost is changing on or moving on. Whether you're going to have an increasing returns or a diminishing returns. Why? Because uh, like this is very important. The cost of production should be very minimum. Then only like you can earn a profit. If your cost is going to increase, then you will be occurring a loss. So marginal cost is an indicator of whether your cost is declining or it is going to increase. So marginal cost plays a very important role in a business. Again, this one we will see very elaborately later on. Okay. And then short run cost, normally it is like in short run, like we have a fixed cost and a variable cost, whereas in a long run, like everything will be variable. That's what I said. So in short run, normally like the output, like what is the output, that plays a very important role. Based on that, like our cost will be differing. And then incremental cost is like when there is a change in the scale of production. I have said no, scale of production is nothing but the scale means the input that is used in the production process. So when there is a changes in the scale of production, or when there is a plan of making a new plant or expanding your business, or when you are planning to replace your old machines. Why? Because heavy machines, every equipment will get depreciated. So when you're planning to make a change over all these things, then you will be like whatever the cost that you are incurring, that we call it as the incremental cost. That is for expansion of, you are changing your business style, then you will be using this. The cost that is incurred at that time, we call it as the incremental cost. Then comes sunk cost. This is the initial cost. This you can otherwise call it as initial cost. That is initially when you make an investment, like when you're going for in search of a building, if you get a building, if you're paying an advance, if you're paying some rent, and if you are making some basic arrangements, that is called as the initial payment. And initial payments, we call it as a sunk cost. Why? Because if you're stopping your business there, you will not get back. That is gone. Like the investment that is put on, it is gone. Like for example, as I said, the advance that is paid for a building, you will not be getting it back. No one will be giving it back actually, because it is an advancement, and like it has to be, they will not be replacing it back to you, because for them it is a loss. Why? Because of you people, they have holded that building for some few months or something like that. So sunk cost is the very initial cost, like not only for building, even for raw material. If you might have talked to someone, so they might have said that they are ready to provide you the raw material, so some advance you might have paid to them, so that they will not be repaying it. Why? Because like they someone else might have come and they might have asked for, but because you have already given it an advance, they might have not sold out to those people. They might have preserved it for you. So when you're saying no, or when you're stopping your business, it means that it is a loss for them. They have to get in some other person. Until then it becomes a loss for them, so they will not be paying back you the advances and all. So when you do a business, that time you can see all these type of some problems, where you might have you should pay it even well in advance before your business to certain people, and that amount will, you will not be getting it back if you are going to stop your business. So that is what is the initial cost or the sunk cost. So that is another type of. And historical cost, historical means, like when everything, like not a new firm, like if you are going to be a very old firm, all the cost which has been incurred in the production process from the day one, all that becomes a historical cost. And replacement cost, it refers to the like the amount which you are going to spend on in replacing an old asset. That is, there is a depreciation, wear and tear happening on, and so like you have to replace it. And then private cost are those which is incurred by the individual or the firm for the purchase of goods and services from the market. Actually, like when you're buying it like as an individual, like when you're buying setting, what is the cost that you are paying, that becomes your private cost. So that is this is something, this private and social cost, it is related with environmental science. Okay, it is not a again, it is not something related with the business activities. This is something related with environmental degradation, in fact. Okay, so when we go for like when these environmental scientists, if they are supporting, they used to take these two costs in explaining their concept. So that is the private cost and social cost. The difference is very simple. The private cost is like whatever the cost as an individual, as a firm, that I'm paying to do my business. That is what is private cost. Okay. It becomes a social cost when I'm degrading the environment, and the people, those who are living in and around me, and they are going to spend because of my activity, that becomes a social cost. So it is like, for example, if you take, I'm having a cement factory, I'm running a cement factory. So all these explicit costs, implicit costs, whatever the cost that I'm going to incur in it, that becomes my private cost. It is my own cost. But as I'm running the cement industry, what happens is the cement particles, the dust particles, it gets added into the air, and it circulates in the in and around area. So all the people, the residents, those who are there in and around my company, they will be facing with this air pollution. So they may get affected by this. So they may get health issues like asthma and all, and if they are going to spend on curing those things, like they will be going to the hospital, they will be doing some treatments, and to protect from, if they are going to use a mask and so whatever that the society is doing, okay, that becomes a social cause. They are spending their packet money because of the mistake that I have done to the society. That is the air has been getting polluted because of my activity, cement factory. So that is what is the social cost. So the people, those who are in and around my factory, if they are getting affected and if they are going to spend their own money because of my activity, because I am having this cement factory and it is going to benefit me. But the people, those who are there in the environment, in that particular locality, they are spending their money because of me. So it becomes a social cost. Okay, this is how the environmentalists they used to define it, like the pollutions and non-pollutions. Okay, so we should have only the private cost. It should not have a social cost. If social cost is going to be there, then we are harming harming the society, which is not considered as a good sign. Actually, it is not good. So it's a environmental science concept. Okay, but I have given all the types of costs. Okay, so these total costs, this and all we will see later on. So these are the various types of cost actually, which I have said about. So all these things. Okay, so all these costs I have talked about. So these are the various types of costs that is a person should know in a business activity. Okay, so the rest of the things we will see in the next class.